This video is almost like a checklist of everything you need to make a parkour map, and I hope this can be useful to you. I'm not going to go too in depth in anything, but I'm just going to let you know what sort of devices you need, what sort of how to place this stuff, and all that sort of stuff. It's going to be quite quick, but this is how we're going to do it. So in terms of the actual landscape, this is the easy part. You can go into your map right here. You can go into the content, and you can look through all sorts of galleries and prefabs to find your items. Now let's say we just want these things right here. We'd get them. I'm gonna copy it for effect. And you want to look to the left side of your screen. It will say drops, and then you want to make sure drops are off. So when you're placing the items, it's so much easier to place them. You see we've already placed 3 in a row, and that would be good enough for a parkour map. Just jump in between them, boom, instant parkour. No fussing around needed. If you had drops on, you'd put them and then they drop all the way to the floor. It makes it so much harder to do anything, and that is the correct way to do it, so I'd be doing that. A little tip I'd suggest is getting the gallery, the whole gallery, and placing it somewhere so you can just copy the items instead of putting them in your inventory, because you only got 10 inventory spots. Now in terms of the other items, you want the spawn pads in the spawn area. I'd recommend keeping them the same so you don't have a start area. This is the start area for pre-game and also the start area for the actual game. I have barrier devices around the outside that are only there during the pre-game, so when they spawn in and are waiting for players, they can't go into the map, but they're in the starting area. I've got a timer device here, so this is actually a mutator device, this green one, and when you pass it, it starts a timer, which is this timer right here, and it goes up to 60 minutes, so it counts their time and it counts up. If you want to reset the timer, there's a spot here that resets it for each player, and the timer basically works, so when they cross the finish line over here, it ends the timer and sets their score on the map. So if they went onto the map and they saw the scoreboard, their time would be on it. You want the repeatability of these maps, so having the ability to spawn back in and try it again is so useful. And I've done that by having a rift device right here, try again, and they can respawn back over in this spot here. I've got checkpoints on the spawn, so when they drop, then they're gonna spawn back. They won't spawn back on the top of the tower if they die again, because that would basically glitch the entire map. And then also on top of that, we got a leaderboard. It's important for these types of maps, and also changing booth. Checkpoints are very, very useful. They make it easier. You want to make sure you label your checkpoints so people can actually see them and go over them. You don't want to have an unlabeled checkpoint, because then people are going to struggle to find them because they're invisible in game. For a good parkour map, you need a good ambience, a good background. We here, obviously, we couldn't go for, we had originally this background the whole way around. It is really cool, but we've had to change it because it glitches. So all the barrier devices in creative are currently super glitched, so it's really hard to do any of that. Hence why we've gone for the water route. Now we have water all around the outside of the map. I think it gives the map a solid vibe, especially when it's on, and also when the respawn. Final thing I want to talk about, the respawn. You can see we have a mutator device here, so when you hit the mutator device, aka fall off, you get teleported to this thing out here. Now this little box out here is the teleporting room, and you teleport in here and you instantly die to all the traps. It's kind of like a jump scare, and for new players it can be quite a funny experience if they get shocked. So that's how it is. That's basically how I have personally made my parkour map. The vibe is especially important. If you want to play my parkour map, head on the screen right now, and if you want any more in-depth tutorials on things, then there are loads of tutorials on my channel. So I appreciate it. Have a great day. Again, you can play the map if you want to see all these devices in action.